Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Chayan Napash coming at you with another lesson. And this one is going to be entitled, This Behavior Will Not Fly During Jacob's Trouble. And I came across this video, entitled Jamaican Atlanta Police Officer Takes No Back Chat. And, he's stopping these Jakes, right? These Judahites, for, reckless driving. Supposedly the woman's feet were outside of the window. And, there was three people riding in the front, which I believe what the officer is saying here, based upon, how he's speaking and how they're speaking, how they're reacting to it, and so on and so forth. So the bottom line is the reaction of these Jakes is somewhat typical in Babylon from what I see. They like to do a lot of, talking back to the police. A lot of, cursing out the police, even if they're in the wrong. Their whole thing is, you don't have the right to tell me anything. And this attitude is not going to be accepted in Jacob's trouble. On the contrary, there will be deadly consequences for defiance in the times to come. All right. So I'm going to play just a bit of this video so you can see the reaction of these women. And the worst ones is usually the black woman. The black woman is usually the loudest, the most out of order, gives the most problems when it comes to cops and things of that nature. From what I've observed, and all of that's going to be put to an end real soon. All right, because Esau, Donald Trump specifically, is getting ready to militarize these police officers, and not just in America, Canada, the UK, these police are going to become more militarized. All right. And eventually the military will take over, Let's listen to a bit of this video.
Well, something you want to say?
The man was pretty calm. When you go back, the man, he was in the wrong, but he was somewhat calm, right? Let's play a bit of this. But the woman, that black woman, man, was completely out of, typical, completely out of order, loud, uncooperative, so on and so forth.
Turn around. Put your foot inside. Well, something you want to say? You, young lady, you are the one who had your foot through the sunroof. You step out the vehicle.
Me?
Yeah, man, you.
Me?
Of course, you. You are the one who had your foot out through the sunroof of the vehicle. So step out of the vehicle. Yeah, man, straight up.
What shoe? That's what I'm saying. What shoe?
Four, I'm good, thank you. Show one blackmail detained. You step out the vehicle.
There's a latch right here.
Step out the vehicle. You want me to pull out the vehicle? You want to pull out the vehicle?
You can jump around in here. You can jump around.
Sunday game, I'm good.
You can jump around. Yes, step out. Leave it.
No, I'm going to keep it, Mommy. Why? I didn't do nothing wrong.
No, you are fine. You are fine. You are fine.
So it's okay in the state of Georgia to have your foot hanging through the sunroof of a vehicle while it is in motion?
What do you want me
Is
to
that
do?
okay?
Hold hold on, sir. I'm
Excuse
her brother.
me?
I'm her blood brother. Can you please tell
Yeah.
me why you acting her to
Get away from here, dude.
Hold on.
No.
Don't talk to me.
Hey,
Don't
hey,
talk to me like
hey,
that.
listen to me.
Don't talk to me.
Joel,
You do what you need
get
to do.
back.
I'm the police, yeah?
Don't you grab my arm. Bro, don't grab my arm like that on G. Don't grab my arm like
stop,
that.
man.
Yeah,
I
call
just-
back up. Do what you need to do. Don't call me. Don't do it. I tried to tell him. Get the off me. 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 Bro, I didn't even do shit.
You see how I want to say to prove, why I say that he's telling the truth. You can just tell off rip, when he tells her to yell at the vehicle, and then the brother, then she makes a statement of I didn't do nothing wrong, and then he went to check that statement by saying, oh, so you can hanging your feet out of the roof of the car is lawful in the state of Georgia. That was like, a defense mechanism when you're telling the truth, right? So we checked that right away. But anyways, you can see how wild she's getting now, right? Yeah, don't touch me, don't put your hands on me, right? You see, that the typical. This is typical.
I didn't even do shit. I didn't even do shit. Get off me. I didn't even do shit. Get off me. Get off me. I didn't even do shit. I ain't do shit. I ain't do shit. I ain't do shit. Get off me.
What's the matter?
I ain't do shit. Get off me. I ain't do shit. Get off me.
Get back.
I have an attorney. I have an attorney.
And then that woman pulls up. He's telling her to get back, and she ain't really getting back. She's being defiant as well.
Come on, just relax.
My attorney's finna sue you. OMG, my attorney's finna sue you. My attorney's finna sue you.
And anyways, when you watch the video, she's giving this cop a lot of trouble, whatever the case may be, and resisting, and she was kicking him, right? So if he was a real one of them real asshole cops, he could have charged her for assaulting a cop, because she did assault him. She kicked him a few times, she threatened, I'll break your fucking face, this and that, da, da, da. So that's a threat. That's a threat right there. So he could have hit her with all of that. And there's certain cops that would have hit her with all of that, would have gave her the book and then some. But, he didn't do that. And this can only be done in this time, but we're coming to a time where this type of behavior is not going to fly. Okay? In Jacob's trouble, this type of behavior is not going to fly. So let's get this video.
Donald Trump released an executive order that is extremely problematic for the African American community, especially African American men. It is an executive order that essentially
Yeah, but don't worry, it's going to hit you women just as hard, because they're not going to, the scriptures, they're not going to spare anybody. And I'm going to show you that in the scriptures. So it's not just African American men. It's also going to be women as well. Matter of fact, let me get a scripture real quick. And it's going to be you so-called Latinos too. Don't get it twisted. All right, don't get it twisted. Second Esdras. Let's get Second Esdras, the 16th chapter. Right, this is Second Esdras 16 and verse 69, and it reads, "And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision." No, Salakia. Let's do it to 68. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols." And by the way, they're going to demonize certain types of people in the media. And they're doing that now. They're becoming more. They're leaning towards that racism, and they're using their pseudoscience, their false science, to back it, right? And their so-called statistics that they don't give you the full spectrum of, to try to back their claims. And this is all going to be used to demonize you Israelites, right? Whether you call yourself Israelites or not, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, this is being used to demonize you before Esau attacks you, okay? But the main target, the main people that are the threat to Esau's society are the prophets of the Lord. And these are going to be the men that are going to be specifically demonized and targeted, and you Jakes are going to get swept up in that. But the difference between us and you is that, the elect is going to have the backing of Yahushua, right? And when you have the backing of Yahushua, no one can do anything against you. They can't do anything against you. They can't win against you, ultimately, because Yahushua is going to be helping you. So that's the thing, right? So that burning wrath, that's also going to be their military, okay? These different forces they have, okay? Let me read that again. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols." And we're going to go into the executive order, man. They're about to get carte blanche on you Negroes and you Latinos and you Native Americans and U.S. citizens and Canadian citizens and so on and so forth, London citizens in general, okay? "And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Okay, that's the main target. "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord." They're going to be like madmen, sparing none. So that includes men, women, and children. All of y'all are going to get it. They don't care if you're old. They don't care if you're young. Because like I said, they're going to have carte blanche. And the Lord is going to put a particular demons on these people to be in a very cold spirit. Okay? Like left-handed angels. Okay? Demonic angels. That's what they're going to be on they're going to be on in a very cold spirit. Right? That's why I said that behavior that you've seen that was being done to that cop is not going to fly in that time when these things fully come into fruition. All right. "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses." And it's all going to be legal. It doesn't matter what they do. They can beat you up. They could kill you. Okay. "Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire." See, that's part of the fire. And you Israelites are going to have to go through that fire too. But you're going to get burnt up in that fire. Okay? You're going to get burnt up in that fire. So let's go back to that video.
Cops, African-American men. It is an executive order that essentially unleashes cops on black men. It is horrible. And I told you it was coming. I told you it was coming.
The first people who told you it was coming was the prophets of the Lord. We were the first one to tell you this was coming. Started with our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. We were the ones that were ringing the alarm that Jacob's trouble was coming. That Esau was going to show his horns and show his hatred towards you Jakes through different legislations and whatnot and martial laws and so on and so forth. Okay, we explained that to you. Okay.
So now, many of the same men who bashed Kamala Harris and supported Donald Trump is going to pay a price.
And Kamala Harris wouldn't have done nothing either. She's nothing but a puppet, just like all of the U.S. presidents were. Okay? So don't let this clown fool you and think that Kamala Harris would have been a difference. It's at the end of the day, they all work for the elites.
Because this executive order is awful. Strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. That sounds so good, protecting innocent citizens, right? Sounds so good. Clean up the streets. Protect the innocent. But that is not what this is about. What he's doing in this executive order is really not even necessary. Because violent crime has been decreasing since 1990. 1990. Look at it. And that is a steady, sharp decrease. Since 1990, there was a little uptick in violent crime right around 2020, and that was when COVID started. So why all this law enforcement? And I'm going to walk you through this executive order. I want you to see this is bad. And it's coming to the black community. Trump told us that in so many words. I'm going to show you that as well. So if violent crime is coming down, then why all this law enforcement? Why all the law enforcement if violent crime is coming down from a peak around the 90s? Why these guys if violent crime is coming down? Why send those menacing police officers with their AK-47s or AR-15s or whatever they have there? Why send them into the hood when violent crime is sharply coming down? Now, you heard me say, he's sending them primarily to the hood. So how do I know? Because he said so. He said so when he visited that Detroit church while he was on the campaign trail. Let's listen to what he says.
We'll bring back public safety and defend our communities for law-abiding American citizens. Look, the crime is most rampant right here and in African-American communities, and more people see me and they say, sir, we want protection. We want police to protect us. We don't want to get robbed and mugged and beat up or killed because we want to walk across the street to buy a loaf of bread. They want it so badly. The fake news doesn't talk about it. But the black population wants law enforcement more than any other population. So I think it's an important thing to say.
So there you have it. He said two things in that clip. One, he says that most of the crime is committed in the African-American community. And he also said that he has been begged by black people to send those guys in. Right? That's what he said. So he's going to send them in, these guys, yet at the same time, violent crime is what? Is going down. All right, so let's take a look at his executive order. It is really serious and very dangerous for African-American people. Let's go look at it. Now, here it is. Strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. And might I point out, he uses the word unleashing. Unleashing. All right, so let's scroll here and read this. By the authority invested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Section 1, purpose and policy. Safe communities rely on the backbone and heroism of tough and well-equipped police force. Tough and well-equipped. Those words are in there for a purpose. Mm-hmm. My administration is steadfastly committed to empowering state and local law enforcement to firmly, I want you to see all the hyperbolic words he used, to drive his point home, to firmly, he's trying to make the point, I'm not playing around.
That's right.
I'm not playing around with you folks. Firmly police dangerous criminal behavior and protect innocent citizens. When local leaders demonize law...
You have to listen when the serpent speaks. The serpent will tell you, the truth. He'll tell you what he means in the way he speaks, his verbiage. You gotta read between the lines, and really, he lies, he deceives, but if you listen closely, you can hear the deception. So let's get this. This is Ezekiel 21 and verse 9. It's Ezekiel 21 and verse 9, and it reads, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished. The ones who've been prophesying to you about this sword coming are the men of Great Millstone, started with our apostles and elders. It wasn't these other camps. It wasn't IUIC. It wasn't ISUBK. They were saying Jacob's trouble is gay. Okay? IUIC was speaking against Jacob's trouble until the C-19 came about. All right? So the men that was prophesying to you, the ones that the Lord was using to speak the truth, was the men of Great Millstone. It says, it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It's going to be a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter, should we then make mirth. It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. And he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. Who is the top slayer on the planet Earth? It's not the Assyrians. The top slayer on the planet Earth that has ever been invented or ever been created are the Edomites, the Edomites. Because their spirit, they have the same spirit as the Cainites. They come from Cain. Okay? In the spirit, that's the same people. All right? What does the word Cain mean? It means weapon. What was Cain about? Cain was about playing the victim and murder. That's what Cain was about. And this is what Esau is about. This is what he's doing in front of your face, in front of your eyes. He's constantly building a case about you. And now it's being pushed to the mainstream, so that what? So that he's justified in using the sword. Okay, don't get it misconstrued. This is targeted to you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And trust me, it's about to get hot. And like I said, that behavior is not going to fly in that time, because they're just going to have the carte blanche to kill you if they want to kill you. And there's not going to be no trial. All right? So them racist Edomites, right? They're going to be, just like they're trigger happy now, they're going to be even more trigger happy in that day and free to do what they will. But with the men of the Lord, the men of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord is going to step in. Oh, matter of fact, man, I got to get that. I was going to go to Lamech, but I got to get this first now that I mentioned that. This is Isaiah. This is Isaiah 59 and 19, and it reads, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Who is he lifting up the standard against him for? The elect. Not for all of the Israelites. Not because you have Israelite blood in you, technically, that the Lord is going to stand up for you. No, you have to be the Israel of God. You have to have that spirit, right? You have to have that faith in Yahweh Shai, that belief in Yahweh Shai, okay? And through the belief in Yahweh Shai, you believe in Yahweh. But if you don't have that in you, you're not one of his. Right? You got guys that fall out. Oh, I always had doubts. That's because you were never any of his. Okay? If you're doubting that this is the truth and you're still dealing with it, you're damning yourself. Okay? You shouldn't have any doubts that this is the truth. All right? Let's go to Isaiah. Scripture says, he that eateth and doubteth is damned, roughly paraphrasing. But anyways, what did I say I was going to get? Isaiah. Let's get Isaiah. Let's get Isaiah 28 real quick, and then I'll go into that, what I was going to go into. This is Isaiah 28 and 15. And it reads, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death. You see, these jakes, they thought, because they believed in America, they believed in the American way and this and that, they subscribed to the American dream that, these things would not come upon. They wouldn't be treated like this. They wouldn't be treated as terrorists and so on and so forth. No. Okay. This was always the plan all along. What do you think the Patriot Act was all about? That was a primer for what you're getting ready to see in these times, which is all out brutality, man, and tyranny. And Trump is that guy, man. He got to be that guy. Okay, he has to be him, man. Okay, that's what I believe. And it says, and with hell are we at agreement when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, meaning when them troops shall come through and when the people shall get put into those camps and put to death and all that, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. And a lot of these celebrities think they're going to be exempt. Esau don't give a shit about Lil Boosie. Okay? Esau don't care about Lil Boosie. He don't care about Kodak Black and these different monkeys. He don't care about these guys. All right? What he looks at as monkeys, which they behave like monkeys. All right? He doesn't care about them. All right? And we're coming to a time all that money and that jewelry that's not going to be worth nothing. They think they're safe. Nah, you ain't safe. All right? It says, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. And that means he won't be frantic. He won't be all nervous, scared. And that cornerstone ultimately is who? Is Yahweh Shai. But the only ones that's going to be delivered, right, when the flood comes, the overflowing scourge, is those that believe on the cornerstone, which is Yahweh Shai. The rest of you jakes you finished, man. You're done. Okay, you're done. All right? This is no joke, man. Esau is moving.
Enforcement and impose legal and political handcuffs that make aggressively enforcing the law impossible. So he wants. When local leaders demonize law enforcement and impose legal and political handcuffs that make aggressively enforcing the law impossible, so he wants the law enforced aggressively on some of you same folks who voted for him, who supported him, who dragged Kamala Harris.
To hell with some
talking about her.
Let me say, to hell with some Kamala Harris. She's a demon, and she's against so-called black people, Israelites as well. She's an enemy as well. She's married to a small hat, and according to the records, she's a small hat her damn self. She ain't even of your people, according to the records. All right, but let's say she was. She's still the enemy's puppet. All right. So I know this guy's talking about Kamala. That's why you jakes are in such darkness, man. We can't have a conversation with you. All right? Because it's gonna start to irritate us, man. Because you might talk to him, he might go into this bill, like, oh, that's cool. Jake understands about the bill, so he's kind of watching. But then the nigga will tell you, oh, man, they should have voted for Kamala. And he got, this nigga's lost as hell. He's super lost. Okay? The only one that's going to deliver you out of the state that you're in is the Lord Yahweh Shai. And his name is not Jesus. Jesus. And he is not a white boy. He's a so-called black man. So-called. Okay? All right? And he's coming back with anger and vengeance against the enemies of Israel, man.
Equatorial record. Well, now you're getting ready to really deal with some stuff. And when he talks about when local leaders demonize law enforcement and impose legal and political handcuffs, basically forget any sort of police reform. Forget any kind of prosecutorial reform as far as he has anything to do with it. He says, my administration, therefore, established best practices at the state and local level. What kind of best practices do you think he's talking about? What kind of best practices do you think he's talking about? I'll show you one of them. Watch this.
Joe Biden and the Defund the Police Democrats have turned our once great cities into cesspools of bloodshed and crime. There's never been anything like it. Here's my plan to restore law and order in our cities and throughout our country, frankly. First, because police forces have been gutted by Democrats' war on police, I will sign a record investment in hiring, retention, and training for police officers nationwide. So important. This bill will also increase vital protections for officers because the Democrats want to take those protections away from our police because we want them to do their jobs right. You can't take their protections away if you're going to have them do their jobs properly. Second, to qualify for this new funding and all other Justice Department grants, I will insist that local jurisdictions return to proven common sense policing measures, such as stop and frisk.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Stop and frisk. 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 Stop and frisk.
Stop and frisk. Stop and frisk. Stop and frisk. Man, I made a few videos talking about what was coming if he was reelected.
Now that stop and frisk law was very detrimental to you Israelites in you Jakes, because that means the cops just pull you over to make you spread eagle. You know what I'm saying? Pat you down and basically treat you like a criminal whenever they felt like it. Okay, let's say if they're having a bad day and they want to, nigga, and they just stop over and just frisk him up. Get on the ground. They don't do all that. They could do that. Okay, and you're just coming home. You just, you got your coffee in your hand. You're like, you're getting ready to go to work, and they just stop and frisk you. Stop and frisk. Right? So that's taking away your civil rights. Well, that's the whole plan. Is that eventually you ain't gonna have any rights. All right? You're not gonna have any rights. You see? And you're all going to be treated as terrorists, homegrown terrorists, including you Edomites. See, these Edomites, they like their champion this, but that's going to also turn on them too. Okay? But the one that's going to hit the hardest and first is going to be you Jakes. Okay?
And stop and frisk is not all that's coming. No. That's just one. That's just one of the things that he has in mind. Okay, let's go back now and finish reading this executive order.
Hold on, give me a second. Let's get some scriptures. Let's go to Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Jeremiah 30 in verse 5, it says, "For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail? And all faces are turned into paleness." Yeah, these men are going to be scared out here for what's getting ready to come, man. Right? And Esau has the power of media. He has the power to, according which was given to him by the Heavenly Father, right? On the left-hand side, he has the power to, to portray you Jakes as the top homegrown terrorist. Even though these Edomites are the main ones shooting things up when it comes to children's schools and and things like that. These Edomites are doing that, but the most, right, by far. But they're gonna have the power to paint you as that the main problem, right? So these jakes are they're gonna be scared when they see what the horns of this devil come out, man. These so-called gangsters, these bad man and all this, they're gonna be very scared, man. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who's gonna be saved out of it? The elect. And this is why the Lord is gonna have to send them angels, which the angels are around us now, but he's gonna have to send the angels on they're gonna have to be turned up, in that time, because we're gonna need some major protection, man. Okay. This is Revelations 12 in verse 17, and it reads, "And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed." Who's the woman? The woman is Israel. Okay. "Which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach," which, like I said before, the main target is the elect, but they're going to sweep you jakes up, and you jakes are without protection. You don't have Yahushua. So you're going to get swept up easy. You're going to be an easy target. You're going to be vulnerable. You're going to be through. Right? But, we have to be numbered amongst the transgressors, man. We have to be numbered amongst transgressors, just like Yahushua was. We're going to be treated like these same grimy niggas you see in the streets. But Esau has no cane. No. He can't say anything against us, because the elect is justified in Yahushua. We don't move like that. We don't operate the same way. Okay, but he's going to try to put us in the same category, and that's going to be to your demise, Esau. You're going to do that to your own demise, because you touch the men of the Lord. As scriptures say that, hey man, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. Yeah, you'll find out what that means, man, in the near future. But let's play a little bit more.
So he goes on to say, establish best practices at the state and local level for cities to unleash high-impact local police forces. You say, well, how can he do that? He's over the federal government. Because of the money, the federal funding that he controls. These local law enforcement departments, and there are a bunch of them, 18,000 or so across the country, they depend on federal funding. And he's going to condition that federal funding on them implementing these policies, these so-called best practices. So that's how he's going to do it. So it goes on to say, and local level for the cities to unleash high-impact local police forces, protect and defend law enforcement officers wrongly accused and abused by state or local officials. Now, tell you exactly what that means. That means that he wants to stop all this holding police accountable for the stuff they do to African-American men. Stop all these lawsuits, all this litigation. Because in his mind, they're just doing their job. So what? They bang a few heads. So what? They violate the Constitution. So what? They kill innocent, unarmed black men. So what? They're doing their jobs. All right? I'm helping you read between the line of this. Read between the lines. My administration will work to ensure that law enforcement officers across America focus on ending crime. Watch this. Not pursuing harmful, illegal race and sex-based equity policies. Man, Trump hates equity, equality. He hates it. So he says if he has anything to do with it, cops are not going to be out there thinking about whether what they're about to do is equitable, if they're treating people right or wrong. In other words, he's going to make sure that they're not thinking about civil rights and trying to treat people with respect and all that. He wants them out there, as he said, ending crime and not being concerned and bothered with illegal race and sex-based equity policies.
They shall be as madmen, sparing none. So with that, I'll give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Shalom.